This golden dollar looks normal, but a small detail can change everything. Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're exploring for Sacagawea Golden Dollars that collectors still look out for. 2000D Sacagawea Dollar. 2010 Sacagawea Dollar, Edge Lettering Error Type. 2004D Sacagawea Dollar. 2000P Sacagawea Dollar. These coins feature the beautiful soaring eagle reverse design and are made from a distinctive copper manganese brass alloy, giving them their famous golden appearance. At first glance, they look like ordinary dollar coins, but some examples become interesting due to mint errors, edge variations, and collectible conditions that attract coin hunters. Before you overlook that golden dollar in your change, take a closer look, because hidden value can sometimes appear in the most unexpected places. Let's begin with coin number 1. Have you ever received a golden-looking dollar coin in change? And didn't think much about it? Just a quick moment. A small coin. And then it disappears into your pocket like it never mattered. But sometimes, the most ignored coins are the ones that quietly carry the beginning of something new. Today's story starts with a coin that changed modern U.S. currency appearance. The 2000D Sacagawea Golden Dollar. Minted in Denver. Released in the year 2000 as part of a new dollar coin program designed to replace older designs in circulation. At first sight, it looked completely different from traditional U.S. coins. Not silver. Not dull. But a warm golden color that immediately stood out in everyday change. On the front, Sacagawea is shown carrying her infant son Jean-Baptiste. A powerful symbol of guidance, survival, and exploration during the Lewis and Clark journey. On the reverse, a soaring eagle in flight. Wings spread wide. Moving forward. Representing freedom and direction. When this coin first entered circulation, it felt new and unfamiliar to many people. It was not something people were used to seeing in daily transactions. A golden dollar coin felt unusual in pockets, wallets, and cash registers. But that feeling didn't last long. Because circulation changes everything. Once a coin enters everyday use, it becomes part of constant movement. Store to store. Hand to hand. Machine to machine. Day after day. The 2000D Sacagawea dollar quickly became part of that flow. Millions were released into circulation. Some were noticed. Most were not. And many were simply treated as regular change. This is where the real story begins. Because a coin is not defined only at the mint. It is shaped by its journey after release. Every time a coin moves through circulation, it experiences small physical changes. Not dramatic at first, but slowly visible over time. A light scratch. A slight dull patch. A reduction in original shine. These changes are not damage in a sudden way. They are the result of repeated contact. From pockets. From machines. From everyday handling. The 2000D Sacagawea dollar went through all of this. Some coins stayed in storage and remained sharp. Others entered heavy circulation and showed visible wear. And this difference created variation among identical coins. Collectors don't just see a date like 2000D and stop there. They look deeper. They study condition. They check surface luster. They observe how clear the details still appear. Sacagawea's portrait is one of the key focus points. Is the facial detail still strong? Are the edges of the design sharp or softened? These small details help tell the coin's journey. Then the reverse design becomes important. The eagle in flight. Originally strong and detailed. But circulation can gradually soften fine feather lines and reduce sharpness. Because in coin collecting, time is always visible. Even when people don't notice it immediately. Think about how many places this coin may have traveled. A grocery store counter. A vending machine slot. A wallet for weeks. A coin jar for years. Each movement adds a silent layer of history. And none of these moments are recorded anywhere. No official log. No written record. But the coin itself carries the evidence. That is what makes circulation coins fascinating. They are not static objects. They are moving records of everyday life. The 2000D Sacagawea dollar is especially important because it represents the beginning of a new era in modern U.S. coinage. A transition into a golden dollar system that was different from anything before it. Even today, these coins are still found in circulation and collections. Some look almost new. Others show heavy wear. And that difference is what keeps collectors interested. Because in numismatics, value is not always about rarity alone. Sometimes it is about survival condition. And how time has treated the object. So when you see a 2000D Sacagawea Golden Dollar, don't ignore it too quickly. It may look modern. It may feel ordinary. But it is part of the first chapter of a new dollar experiment in U.S. history. And this is only the beginning of its journey. Because next comes the Philadelphia version. And the differences between two identical designs from two different mints. After the release of the Denver version, a second version quietly entered circulation in the same year. The 2000p Sacagawea Golden Dollar. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Same design. Same golden color. Same purpose. But a different origin point in the U.S. mint system. At first glance, most people cannot tell any difference between the 2000D and 2000p. And that's exactly what makes this coin interesting. Because in circulation, coins don't stay separated by mint. They mix. They travel. They move through the same everyday economy. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar was released into the same real-world environment as the Denver version. Stores. Banks. Vending machines. Cash registers. Everyday pocket change. There was no special separation once circulation began. And just like the Denver coin, it quickly became part of daily money flow. Hand to hand. Transaction after transaction. City to city. State to state. But the real transformation begins after release. Because circulation does not treat all coins equally. Some coins are used heavily in daily transactions. Some remain in storage or bankrolls. Some are forgotten in drawers. And some are saved early by collectors. Each path creates a different survival outcome. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar experienced all of these paths across millions of examples. And that is why today, you can find different conditions of the same coin. Some examples still show strong original shine. Some are lightly worn. Some are heavily circulated and dull. Same coin. Different journey. Collectors focus deeply on these differences. Not just the date. Not just the mint mark. But how the coin has survived over time. Sacagawea's portrait is again the main focus. Details in the face. Clarity of the hairlines. Sharpness of the design edges. These features slowly change through circulation. On the reverse, the eagle in flight becomes another key observation point. Wings that once looked crisp gradually soften through repeated handling and contact. Because in numismatics, time is not invisible. It is written on the surface. Every coin tells a story through wear patterns. Light scratches. Surface dullness. Loss of luster. These are not random marks. They are the result of everyday life interaction. Think about the journey of one coin. It might start at a bank. Move to a grocery store. Go into someone's wallet. Sit in a coin jar for months. Then return to circulation again. None of this is tracked. No system records it. But the coin carries all of it physically. That is what makes circulation coins like the 2000p Sacagawea dollar so interesting to collectors. They are not just mint products. They are living objects shaped by real-world use. Even though millions were produced, not all of them survived the same way. Condition differences are now part of their identity. And in coin collecting, condition often speaks louder than quantity. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar also represents the early expansion phase of this golden dollar system. A time when the US Mint was still testing public acceptance, still introducing the concept into everyday life, still observing circulation behavior. Because of that, these coins became part of a large uncontrolled real-world experiment. And that experiment continues even today. So when you see a 2000p Sacagawea Golden Dollar, don't assume it is just ordinary change. It is part of a nationwide circulation system that has been running for decades. And this is still only the middle of the story. Because later years like 2004 begin to show how long this coin series stayed in active use, and how circulation slowly changed its identity over time. By the time the Sacagawea Golden Dollar reached 2004, something important had already happened. The coin was no longer new. It was no longer a fresh introduction in people's hands. It had already spent years moving through real circulation. And now, it was becoming normal in everyday money flow. The 2004 Sacagawea dollar continued the same iconic design. Sacagawea carrying her child on the front, a symbol of guidance and survival. And on the reverse, the soaring eagle still representing freedom and movement. At first glance, a 2004 coin looks almost identical to earlier versions. Same color, same shape, same design. But in coin collecting, the real difference is never just design. It is time. By 2004, millions of Sacagawea dollars had already passed through hands across the United States. Some were heavily used, some were barely used, and some were stored away without ever entering full circulation. This is where the story becomes more interesting. Because circulation is not equal for every coin. It depends on usage. It depends on region. It depends on chance. Some 2004 Sacagawea dollars entered daily spending immediately. They moved through grocery stores, gas stations, vending machines, and bank transactions. Others stayed inside bankrolls or collections for years. And this difference created visible variation today. Collectors don't just look at 2004 as a date. They study how the coin survived after release. Because survival is what defines modern coin interest. Over time, circulation slowly changes a coin's surface. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but step by step. Small scratches appear. Original shine starts fading. Fine details begin to soften. And the coin slowly shifts from mint condition to circulated history. Sacagawea's portrait is one of the most studied parts. Collectors observe facial sharpness, edge clarity, and overall strike quality. Because these details reveal how much the coin has traveled. The reverse eagle design is also important. Wings that once appeared sharp and strong slowly lose fine definition after years of handling. This is not damage in a traditional sense. It is natural circulation wear. And this is the part most people never think about. Every coin in your hand has already lived a journey. Even if it looks ordinary. Even if it looks modern. It still carries time inside its surface. Think about a 2004 Sacagawea dollar for a moment. It may have been used in hundreds of transactions. Or it may have stayed untouched for years. Or it may have been passed through multiple states without anyone noticing. There is no record of this movement. No tracking system. But the coin itself holds physical evidence of everything it experienced. That is why collectors study condition so closely. Because condition is the only visible history a coin can show. In 2004, the Sacagawea series was still widely circulating. But public attention had already started shifting away from dollar coins. That means many coins either stored up or circulated unevenly. And this uneven circulation created today's variety in condition. Some coins look almost new. Others are heavily worn. And both are from the same year. This contrast is what makes modern coin collecting interesting. Not rarity alone, but survival differences over time. Because in numismatics, a coin is not just judged by its mint year. It is judged by how it survived the real world. So when you see a 2004 Sacagawea Golden Dollar, don't think of it as just a regular coin. Think of it as part of a long circulation story that started in 2000 and continued quietly through everyday life. And this journey does not stop here. Because by 2010, the Sacagawea series begins another phase. With design continuation and modern circulation reality changing once again, by 2010, the Sacagawea Golden Dollar was no longer something new or surprising. It had already been part of the US currency system for a full decade. And by this point, its story had quietly shifted from new modern coin to everyday circulation coin. The 2010 Sacagawea dollar still carried the same golden appearance. Still the same size. Still the same core identity that began in 2000. But something important had changed over time. Not in the design, but in how people used it. By 2010, dollar coins were not as commonly used in everyday transactions compared to earlier expectations. That means many Sacagawea dollars began to circulate less frequently in regular spending. Some remained stored in banks. Some stayed in rolls. And many simply moved slowly through the economy instead of fast daily circulation. This slow movement created a different kind of survival pattern. Coins that circulate less often tend to preserve more original details, while coins that circulate heavily show faster wear. So in 2010, both types began to exist clearly side by side. A 2010 Sacagawea Golden Dollar still looks modern at first glance. Sacagawea on the front, carrying her child, remains a strong symbol of guidance and resilience. And the eagle on the reverse still represents freedom and movement. But now, the coin carries something else too. Time. Because by 2010, this design had already been in the public eye for years. It was no longer a new introduction. It had become part of the background of everyday money. Something people recognized but didn't focus on. And that is where the real circulation story continues. Coins that are ignored often travel in unpredictable ways. Some remain untouched. Some are spent quickly. Some are stored and forgotten. And some are rediscovered years later. A 2010 Sacagawea dollar could have lived many different lives. It might have sat inside a bank vault. It might have been stored in a drawer for years. Or it might have circulated slowly through small transactions across different places. Each path creates a different condition today. And condition is where collectors always look closely. Because condition tells the hidden story of how a coin survived. Even small changes matter. A slight dulling of the surface. Softening of design details. Light marks from handling. These are not random imperfections. They are the result of time and movement. Collectors often study Sacagawea dollars by observing how clearly the design elements remain visible. The facial detail of Sacagawea. The clarity of the child figure. And the sharpness of the eagle on the reverse. Because as coins circulate, these details slowly lose their original sharpness. Not suddenly, but gradually. Like a slow fading record of everyday life. And this is what makes modern coins like the 2010 Sacagawea dollar interesting. They are not ancient. They are not rare in the traditional sense. But they exist in a wide range of conditions because of real-world circulation behavior. Some 2010 examples still look close to mint condition. Others show noticeable wear from handling. And both are equally real examples of the same coin. Just different journeys. Because in numismatics, coins are not judged only by date or design. They are judged by survival. how they traveled, how they were used, and how they changed over time. Think about it. A single coin might pass through a bankroll, a retail store, a vending machine, a wallet, a coin jar, and then back into circulation again. Each step leaves invisible traces. Not written anywhere, but physically present on the coin itself. That is why even a modern coin like the 2010 Sacagawea dollar holds interest. Because it is part of a long chain of everyday human activity. By this time, the Sacagawea series had already established its place in U.S. coin history. From early 2000 circulation to mid-2000 usage to 2010's slower movement phase. It reflects how currency adapts over time. And this completes the full journey of the Sacagawea Golden Dollar series. A coin that started as a new introduction in 2000, moved through years of everyday life, and became part of modern circulation history. So when you see a 2010 Sacagawea Golden Dollar today, don't think of it as just another coin. Think of it as the final chapter of a decade-long circulation story. A story written quietly through time, movement, and everyday use.